Mr. Panikar, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening and a warm welcome to all the participants who are here today for our learning series event hosted by Mumbai chapter. I'm happy to welcome Ms. Divya Jain and all the participants who have come in today. A little bit of ISTD and then I will introduce Divya to all of y'all. ISTD, for those of you who are new to ISTD, is a national organization of the trainers, for the trainers and by the trainers. Of course, we have membership from across the HR field and also business areas. We are organized around 37 chapters. Our primary goal is to develop capacity in the training arena, and we are associated with multiple sector skill council and provide assessment services as well. At the chapter level, we organize such type of programs, and our Saturday evening learning series event is quite popular, and we host this generally every Saturday. If you are not able to do that every Saturday, at least every alternate Saturday. For those of you who are not member of ISTD, I invite you to become member of ISTD. It is available at a very good price of 9,779, including GST. What are the values and benefits? Okay, you get to attend all this series. We are going to launch very soon a lot of training related development programs and MDPs on various activities. So you get discounted fees when you are a member of ISTD. Plus, you become a member with a network of close to 8,000 professionals in the area of learning and development. So that's a little bit of short introduction of ISTD. And for those of you who want to have more information, they can join, they can go log into our website, istd.in. Also, ISTD runs one of the most popular diploma program in India, or I'll say the only diploma program in India in the area of learning and development, called the Postgraduate Diploma in Learning and Development. It's recognized by Government of India. So that's a little bit about ISTD. Now, a very quick introduction about our guest speaker today, Ms. Divya Jain. Ms. Divya Jain is a multifaceted personality, coach, healer, trainer, actor, and engineer. She brings a unique perspective on communication, interpersonal relationship, and group dynamics through a long and varied experience in the corporate world, theater, and her own spiritual pursuit. She has worked in the IT industry for over a decade in India, Singapore, and US. She's a respected member of the theater community with 15 years plus and over 20 theater production to her credit as actor, costume, and production designer. Wow. Divya considers herself as an agent of change and founded Unveshanam to guide and support fellow travelers on journey of self-discovery. She has been coaching individuals and group in mindfulness, emphatic communication, and personal mastery at large corporations like Cisco, Danaher, VMware, Google for education, Collin Aerospace, Beckman Clouter, and many other such organizations. She is a trained counselor and is certified in NLP at the master level. She is also trained in emotional freedom techniques, inner child healing, non-violent communication, rebirthing, breath work, and energy healing under various teachers over the past 10 years. It's our pleasure to invite Divya Jain to our forum. Over to you, Divya. And I think before she goes in, Matthew would like to give some housekeeping instruction. Matthew?
Yeah. So only one instruction here now, as of now. So keep your pen and paper ready because you may have a lot of exercise or something that you need to write down and all that. So I request the participants to keep their pen and paper ready. Thank you. So over to you, Divya.
Uh, Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Panikarji, for the wonderful introduction. Warm welcome to everyone. I hope everyone is having a good Saturday. Um, I appreciate everybody making the time to be here with me and this group today. So let's just get started by doing a little fun exercise. It will also be a quick way to maybe get to know everyone who's present here. So I invite people to put in the chat, you can put your name and use any adjective that you would like to describe yourself, like a positive adjective. If you can make it an alliteration, which is like the adjective starts with the same letter as your name, that will be even better. And also if you can describe in one word how you are feeling today. So I will start by saying I'm dazzling Divya and I'm very excited to be here today. So I just invite people to maybe just take a minute and put in the chat their names, any adjective to describe them and how they're feeling today. If anybody would like to unmute themselves and speak, that's fine too. Smiling Surya, positive Paramita, passionate Prabhakar. Wow, lovely. Realistic Ravi, eager. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, soulful Sangeeta. Lovely. So keep it coming. It's just a way to, get to know all of us as a group today. And just to smart Shivani. Thank you. So keep it going, guys. And welcome to those who are still joining us. Sureen, Sudha, lovely. Satisfied Satish, beautiful. Thank you everyone for playing along and participating. I don't want this to become like I'm delivering a lecture. I want this to be very interactive for all of us to really have a two-way conversation as we go along. So let's also start with a little bit of a movement exercise. We are all probably sitting down a whole lot, sitting down in front of screens most of the day. So let's just start by loosening up the body. We're just going to do a little bit of a body shake, and you can just do it any which way that you like. You can just start shaking out, like you can do this gently, you can do this vigorously, you can stand up or sit down. So let's just get some movement in the body. Just allow all the various joints and every part of the body to move. So we'll just take about 20-30 seconds doing this. Have fun with it. Allow yourself to just like really enjoy this exercise and use this as a way to just get some movement in the body. Yeah, so I hope everybody is following along and just having fun, just shaking it all out, So make sure you shake out the whole body, like from the head, shoulders, the arms, the torso, all the way down to the legs and the feet. Yeah. So let's just continue to do this for the next maybe 5-10 seconds. Yeah. And then let's just settle down. Take a moment to catch your breath. Yeah. And just sit comfortably, keeping your back gently straight. And let us now do a few deep breaths just to center ourselves and relax. We already moved the body, so hopefully you can all feel the body is a little warmed up. You can feel, the movement in the body, the circulation in the body. So let's just start with a few deep breaths. So we are going to breathe in deeply through the nose. And let us also gently close our eyes as we breathe in. And let's then breathe out through the mouth. Slowly exhale through the mouth, almost like you're blowing out a candle. So this is a relaxation breathing exercise. So let's do a few more of these, just allowing ourselves to, just the body to relax, the mind to calm down. So let's breathe in, long, deep inhalation. Breathe out through the mouth. Allow the breath to slow down, to become long. And as you do these deep breaths, keep your attention on the breath and keep listening to the body. So let's do maybe a few more deep breaths. Continue to do that on your own pace. And keep your attention on the breath. Just notice how the body expands when we breathe in What changes? How do you feel as you breathe out? With each out breath, allow yourself to release any stress, any tension, any sense of tiredness or tightness that you're feeling. If the mind is wandering, keep bringing it back to the breath. Okay, let us all now together do one last deep breath, breathing in deeply through the nose. Feel the belly, the chest, the shoulders, everything expanding. And then breathe out through the mouth, just releasing, letting go. You can now rub your palms together to warm them up. Place them over your eyes and slowly open your eyes to come back. Welcome back, everyone. So I'm just going to share my screen so that I can share the presentation that I wanted to share with all of you today. So like you know, the topic that we're talking about today is bouncing forward, thriving amidst adversity. If you see me kind of, turning my head to the right, I have another screen where the presentation is running. So just to let you know that. I think the last year when the pandemic hit, we all probably thought that, okay, 2020 is going to be the year of adversity. And then 2021 came, and now that is proving to be the year of adversity. I'm saying this to say that challenges in life are inevitable. Sometimes they're on a personal level, sometimes they're on a community, family level, and sometimes they're on a global level, like we're facing with the pandemic right now. What we're here today to talk about is how do we thrive when we are going through a challenge? How do we bounce forward? So I invite you all to, again, share in the chat what you think is resilience. What is your definition of resilience? What is your understanding of it? Resilience is a word that probably a lot of us is hearing now. Immunity, resilience, these are the buzzwords right now. In the words of Rosabeth Cantor, who's a professor at Harvard, she says that surprises are the new normal, resilience is the new skill. So I invite people to share what they think is, or what their understanding or definition of resilience is. Yeah, core strength, great. Anybody, whatever you think, whichever way you would like to understand or explain how fast you bouncing back. Yeah, sure. Being stronger, tolerance, ability to cope. Yes, absolutely. All of those are great. Ability to face uncertainty. Yes, overcome difficulties. Absolutely. So if you look at the dictionary, I think the meaning of the word resilience is, how quickly we can recover or bounce back from a difficulty. It's our capacity to recover from challenges or difficulties, not to give up in our strength. Yes. So the way I like to define resilience is our ability to withstand adversity, bouncing back from difficulties, and then actually growing in the process. And to me, when we combine these three, so it's not really so much about just bouncing back, getting back to the point where we were before we met the challenge. It's about actually growing in the process so that we bounce forward. And here, what I'm sharing are two symbols of resilience. One is the phoenix and the other is the helix. The phoenix, as we all know, rises from its ashes. And the helix is a symbol of strength and resilience that's found a lot in nature. So just wanted to share these two beautiful symbols with the group. So moving forward, if I have to very simply put, I believe that resilience is our ability to thrive despite the circumstances. So people say, the bad times don't last. The way I look at it is that nothing lasts. The good times don't last either. So when we say, getting through a difficult situation, it's not about somehow going through the situation. When we talk about resilience, it's not about, going into denial or going numb. It's really about living the full experience of the situation. So feeling all the feelings, and sometimes those feelings can be difficult. They can be positive, the feelings can be negative. We may fall several times, we may be hurting, we might be going through pain. But resilience is all about that we continue to keep going because we believe in ourselves and we believe in life. So resilience is really about experiencing the whole experience of the difficult situation, adapting to it, and then choosing to thrive. So it's really about navigating a storm gracefully and emerging stronger on the other side. In a way, the pain of a difficult situation is what paves the way for our growth. So in general, if we look at our lives or if we look at nature, growth doesn't happen without pain. Like for a caterpillar to become a butterfly, it has to go through the process of metamorphosis. Or for a seed to germinate, the seed has to actually crack open. So let's take a moment here and take out our, pen and paper, and let's take a moment of reflection and look back in our own lives to see what were the periods of major growth in our own lives. Were those times of adversity? Did the growth happen when we were facing a challenge? So let's just take a minute, everyone, to just reflect upon what have been the periods of major growth for you in your life. So I'll give everybody maybe another 20, 30 seconds to finish writing. So again, I invite everybody to keep sharing. If people feel like, if at any point you have a question, you can stop me, you can put the question in the chat or share any thoughts or experiences that you would like to share with the group. So far we kind of looked at the definition of resilience. We also looked at why resilience is important, because it helps us navigate difficult situations gracefully. And maybe some of you are wondering, am I resilient? The answer to that question is that we are actually, all of us are resilient, because again, if you look back in your life, I'm sure you've gone through various challenges and come through them. So we all have varying degrees of resilience. So resilience is not some elusive trait that's available only to a few people. It's actually a skill. And like any other skill, it can be learned. And all it takes is some practice and some patience. So now that we understand, what is resilience and that it is a skill that we can build, probably the next question would be, how do we develop? How do we increase our resilience? So I'm going to be sharing, a few tips and few ways to cultivate our resilience. And one of the first things that I want to talk about is that in life, be it personal or professional life, most times we cannot change circumstances or people. What we can change is the way we look at things and the way we respond to them. So let's just, again, do a little short exercise here. I invite all of you to pick up any challenge, any difficulty that you're facing in your life. It could be work related, it could be personal. And then just check and see, do you have control over this situation? Or if it's a person that you're having a challenge with, so just see, Do you have control over this? Can you change it? If yes, then that's great. If not, then ask yourself the question, what is the best I can do in this situation? And again, I invite everybody to try and write more than one option, because most times there are many options that are open to us in any given situation, even when things are not great or things are difficult. So check and see, can I change the situation? If not, then what is the best that I can do in this situation? And again, the invitation is try and write more than one option. So again, I'll just give everybody a minute or so to do this. If people are needing a little more time, they can continue to work on this as I go further. So basically, when we do this, when we try to change our perspective, try to change the way, yes, acceptance, looking at the positive aspect, that's exactly what I was coming to. We really come to a place of acceptance. And when we talk about acceptance, I also want to talk about the fact that acceptance does not mean that we do not take action. Acceptance simply means that we stop fighting the situation. We stop hoping, wishing, praying that things can be different somehow. So when we come to a place of acceptance, it frees up a lot of our energy. Otherwise, like, say a very simple thing, like say if we had plans and then it starts raining, we can either go into a lot of, okay, whether I don't like the rain or how the rain is kind of, ruining my plans, or we can just accept that, yes, it's raining. And then we look at what is the best we can do in the given situation. So again, looking at the exercise, the challenge or the challenging situation that you chose to work on, just ask yourself, can you accept the situation for what it is? And again, whether it's a yes or a no, there is no wrong answer. It's just a way for us to understand where we stand with a particular situation. The key and why it is important to accept is because once we move into acceptance, we actually move from the problem to the solution. Otherwise, all of us, it's very natural. It's very natural for all of us to kind of, keep talking about the problem. And it happens when we are going through a difficult time, we talk to friends, we talk to family, we kind of keep thinking about the problem. But when we accept the problem, it becomes easier to move towards a solution. So, and like I said earlier, once we are trying to find a solution, there are normally several solutions. Yes. So acceptance alone will not provide a solution. When we accept the problem, we kind of start looking for a solution. We ask the question, what is the best that I can do in this situation? Yeah. Like I said, acceptance does not mean that we don't have to take actions. Acceptance does not mean that we just say, okay, now this problem has happened, there's nothing we can do. When we accept, we start trying to use our creativity and finding solutions that are going to work for us. And also in finding a solution, it's very, very key that we understand a problem correctly. Sometimes when we don't understand the problem, we also go around looking for solutions which are way more complex than they need to be. Or we are trying to, we start to solve a problem which is not even there. So to give you an example, many of you might be aware of this. It's called the space pen story. It's not exactly a true story, but I think in the 80s, when the Russians and the Americans were working on the space program, the Americans spent a lot of time and money in developing a pen that can write in zero gravity, whereas the Russians chose to use pencils. So there, I feel that the problem statement wasn't that we need a pen that writes in space. I think the problem statement was we need a writing implement that can work in zero gravity. So it really helps us to look at what the real problem is, and then to start exploring the various solutions that are possible. So once we have identified solutions, most of us are good at finding solutions. We are sometimes not very good at taking the action. So when I see a problem, I accept it, and then I start finding solutions to it. I may actually come up with some really good ideas, but many times we actually don't act on them. And when we don't act on them, things don't change. The problem doesn't go away. We are not able to move forward. We kind of get stuck there. So in the spirit of taking action, I would invite people to look at, their self-reflection, the problem that they identified, the various solutions that they found. And let's all as a group make a commitment to take action on whatever it is that you've identified is the best you can do in this situation. Yeah. So I really want, each of you to commit to at least one of those solutions that you've identified. And sometimes the first solution may not work. We might have to try one solution, then look at another option to, to work through our problem. Yeah. So again, in the spirit of taking action and finding solutions, I invite you all to just have a little bit of fun and solve this maze. So as you traverse this maze, go from one end of the maze to the other end, the letters that you find along the way are going to spell a word. So let's just have a little bit of fun with this and see what answers we can find. Yeah, so there are a couple of questions and thoughts on the chat. I'll get to that as people. Okay. Yeah, so you have to cross the whole maze. Yeah. So if you can see, these are the two points, entry and exit, or whichever way you want to look at it. Okay, so yeah, so I'm waiting for some more answers. Okay. Anybody else? Stressed? Yeah. Okay. So if I go from here, and this is the way to kind of move through the whole maze, the word I get is stressed. And if I move from this side and then go out that way, the word that I get is desserts. Yeah, thank you. Some people found desserts. And so I just wanted to, use this as an example to say that the way we look at the problem, also, accordingly, we find the solutions. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Ashwin. Yeah. So like I said, if we go from the left to the right, the word is stressed. And if we go from the right to the left, the word is actually desserts. So it's just to remind us that everything boils down to the way we perceive a situation, we look at a particular problem. So when we talk about, finding problems and solutions, like I think, let me just get to the couple of questions that were there. One was about if finding the solution is time bound, how to deal with that. And also sometimes someone's purpose is satisfied and someone's purpose is not satisfied. Yeah. Thank you, Ashwin and Kusuma, for that. Yeah, so when we are trying to find a solution, it's very important to find a win-win solution, to find common ground, to look at finding a solution that's going to work for both parties or multiple parties that are involved. And if the solution is time bound, yes, in finding a solution, obviously there are constraints on resources, be it time or anything else. So it's about looking at what is the best possible solution in the given circumstances. Yeah. So when we talk about solving problems, it's also very important that we solve the problem or the maze that each of us is. Each of us is a unique individual. We all have our strengths and our challenges, limitations or challenges, whatever word you like to use. So I invite you all to take now a moment to reflect upon, maybe you can, on your piece of paper, make 2 columns and just make a list of what you think are your strengths and what you think are your areas of growth, your limitations, your challenges. So the idea of doing this is that it's a way to, again, assess ourselves. So whatever our strengths, we can leverage them, especially when we are going through a difficult time. And when we are aware of what our limitations is and what our own challenges are, then we can seek support. We can, again, find our solutions based on that, whatever is our strength and whatever is our limitation. Another key aspect of self-awareness is to know that our emotions, our thoughts, and our behavior are very closely tied. Many times we feel that, our behavior is, we take rational decisions and we are not, we don't allow ourselves to be swayed by emotions. But the truth is that emotions, thoughts, and behavior are very, very closely tied together. So in the given situation, the reflection that we were doing, I invite you all to look at, ask yourself a few more questions. How am I feeling in this situation? The challenge that you have identified. What am I thinking? What are my thoughts? What is the action that I'm taking? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? And whatever I'm choosing to think or do, is this actually helping me or is it actually harming me? Yeah, so again, just take a moment to self-reflect on, in your given situation, in your adverse, challenging situation, how are you feeling and thinking? What are you doing? And is that helping or harming the current situation? Yeah, so let's just take a moment doing this. I'm asking you to do this because it helps us bring clarity to what we are actually dealing with, because sometimes, especially between emotions and thought, we sometimes get confused. Our thoughts, whatever we are thinking, we sometimes feel that, that's how I'm feeling. So say if I make a mistake, I might say that, I'm feeling stupid, but actually stupid is not really a feeling. It's a thought that I'm having because I might be angry or upset about the mistake that I made. So if I can separate the thought and the emotion, it helps me to gain clarity. And it's also very important to know that we are not our thoughts or our feelings. Our emotions, our feelings are temporary, they arise and they recede, and our thoughts are constantly going on in our minds. So we are not our thoughts or our feelings. And once we understand, or especially our feelings, we can then be more conscious about the action we are taking, about the behavior. Yeah. So just to share some self-awareness humor with all of you. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, especially when we talk about self-awareness, the next key component of resilience is self-care. And when I'm talking about self-care, today, most of us, we are quite aware of, taking care of our bodies, eating healthy, exercising, getting enough rest. While that is very, very important, we are not just our bodies. So we are actually, there are four, I would like to talk a little bit about the four components of well-being, which is physical, our bodies; mental, which is to do with our intellect; emotional, which is our feelings and our emotions; and then the spiritual aspect. So it is the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect of well-being. When all four aspects of our being are taken care of, are nourished, that is when we feel a complete sense of wholeness and well-being. So when I talk about self-care, I'm talking about taking care of all of these four aspects. Like I said, a lot of us today are very good at taking care of our bodies, and research shows it that despite people eating healthy and exercising, the incidence of mental health is going up. When we talk about mental health, I feel, a lot of the issues that we face are actually to do with emotions that haven't been handled. And that's why taking care of our emotional self is extremely, extremely important in also becoming more resilient. So if we take the analogy of a cup, when we are going through a difficult time, when we are facing an adversity creates a lot of demands on us, be in terms of our time, be in terms of our, physically being present. So we are really required to give our best. But to be able to give our best, we also have to be at our best. Oftentimes what happens is when we are going through a stressful situation, any difficult, challenging situation, we stop exercising, we don't eat on time, we don't eat healthy food, we don't get enough sleep, and then it kind of becomes a downward spiral. And like I said, there are demands that are being made on us. So eventually we start to feel exhausted, we start to feel depleted, we get overwhelmed, we feel burnt out. So if we take the analogy of a cup, that we cannot pour from an empty cup. So to be able to pour from the cup has to be filled up. So if I have to support other people, whether it is at work, at home, in my community, if I have to meet my deadlines, a lot of those demands take up my resources. So how do I constantly refuel myself so that I don't feel overwhelmed and burnt out? So let's do again a little reflection exercise here. I invite all of you to look at what fills your cup and what empties it out. Yeah, so what are the activities or what are the things that help you refuel, replenish, and what are the things that make you feel depleted or make you feel run out? Yeah. And again, like I said, let's look at all aspects: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And when I say spiritual, it could be religion, it could be meditation, anything which makes us feel that we are connected to something bigger, something higher. It could be, as I said, mysticism, it could be God. It could be even the Force, if you like Star Wars, whatever it is that you feel connected with. Yeah, so cooking, sure. Me time, absolutely. So yeah, I would invite people to put on the chat what fills up their cup. So basically, this exercise helps us to know that on a day when we feel that the cup is really emptying out, we probably need to make sure that we find ways to fill it up. Anything like making 10 minutes for a short meditation, maybe doing a short walk, doing a little bit of a breathing exercise, maybe just listening to some music and maybe dancing for some 5 to 10 minutes, could be eating chocolate, whatever it is that helps you refill, that helps you feel well inside. Could be sitting and journaling, any activity. Yeah, for some people, cooking can be therapeutic. For somebody, it can be depleting. Sure, riding a bike, dancing with my kids. Absolutely. So the idea is to identify things that help us fill up and things that make us empty out. And to constantly keep trying to find that balance so that we don't reach that place where we are feeling depleted and burnt out. Yeah, playing badminton, being with self. Yeah, sometimes being in nature, just looking out the window, looking at the trees. And each of us has a different way to recharge. So it's just a way to again become self-aware. It sometimes helps to have a list on your desk or in a laptop. So on a day when you're feeling very run down, you know what to do to help fill yourself up. Drawing, wandering, sure. Lovely. Thank you everybody for all the sharings. Yeah. So while we are here and we are talking about, self-care on various levels, why don't we do a short activity? Yeah. Yes, Ashwin. Yeah, negative events and too much of thinking on it can empty out our cups. So I really invite everybody to also start paying attention to what is it that we are giving our energy and attention to. I mean, all the news that we are listening to or reading, again, is it helping? Is it harming? What am I spending my time and energy doing? The kind of people that I'm talking to, what am I watching, reading, listening to? So it's just, again, becoming aware. And if we feel that those are the things that are actually emptying it out, emptying our cup out, then we probably need to find ways to fill it up, or we need to find ways to detach ourselves from those activities. So like I said, since we're talking about self-care on various levels, let's just do a short practice together, everyone. So let's start with a little bit of, again, body awareness and body movement. So what we're going to do is that as we breathe in, we'll just tighten all the muscles in the body, and then we'll breathe out through the mouth and just release the muscles. Let's do it all together. So let's take a deep breath in and start tightening the muscles in the body. You can scrunch the face, you can tighten the shoulders, the arms, make tight fists, tighten your feet, your legs, your torso, your stomach muscles, just tighten the whole body. And then, as you breathe out, you can just release, just allow yourself, the whole body to relax. Let's do this a couple more times. You can do this with your eyes closed. Breathing in and tightening the whole body. Just keep tightening, tightening, breathing in, tightening, tightening, tightening. And then as you breathe out, just relax. Feel the muscles relaxing. Let's do one last time together. Let's just breathe in and tighten, start tightening the whole body from the top of the head down to the tips of the toes. Just tighten everything as you breathe in. And then breathe out and just relax. Take a moment, allow your breath to return to normal. Keep your eyes closed. And I'm just going to play a little music for our meditation. So again, everybody, you can just sit in any position that you like. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your back gently straight. Very gently keep focusing on your breath. Just take a moment. Just pay attention to your breath. Consciously detach yourself from any other to-do lists or any other activities that you need to attend to later. And just bring your attention inwards. Take a moment to just listen to your body. Become aware, are you feeling comfortable? Is the body feeling tight? Is your breath fast or slow? Is it rhythmic? Just paying attention, don't try to change the breath in any way. Keep becoming aware. Now bring all your attention and focus in the space behind your eyes, kind of in the center of your head. If any thoughts or any feelings arise, again, just become aware. Choose not to engage with the thoughts, just be aware that the thoughts are there. Don't pay too much attention to them. Use the breath, keep your attention on the breath. And let us now start traveling down from the head downwards, traveling down the spine, reaching the base of the spine. And just feel the support of the chair or wherever you are seated. Feel your weight resting. Feel yourself supported. Keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. And let us just feel the support of the earth beneath us. Earth is the great mother, and we all have a deep connection with the earth. Maybe your feet are touching the floor, maybe they are not. Just feel your weight, just feel your connection. Maybe you feel a pulsing energy beneath you. You can visualize that you are like a tree with roots growing down into the earth. And the earth is holding you, giving you stability, anchoring you, and supporting you. Or you can visualize a waterfall or just a connection, a cord connecting you deep into the earth. And the earth nurturing and nourishing you, holding you safe. And let us now bring our attention to the space above our heads. Visualize a giant ball of golden energy just above your head. And this ball is just pouring this golden, healing, energizing light and energy down on you. Feel the gentle energy pouring down, flowing through you, around you. You can choose to receive as much as little of this energy, which is cleansing, healing, energizing you, helping you find balance and harmony. So let's just take a moment of silence here, consciously connecting to the earth and the cosmic energy, bringing our attention back to the breath if we feel we are getting distracted, listening to the body and feeling the energy all around us. Let us continue to keep our attention on the breath. Feel the energy. Feel the sense of calmness and harmony, the sense of expansion and joy in your body, in your heart. Let us now take a deep breath in. And once again, you can rub your palms together, place them over your eyes. And you can slowly open your eyes to come back. You can pat your face and neck. Welcome back, everyone. If anybody would like to share their experience of the meditation or have any question, do feel free. So, continuing with our conversation, like I said, it's very, very important to continue to take care of ourselves, because when we are going through a challenging situation, the first thing we do is to stop taking care of ourselves. And that's what creates a lot of the overwhelm and a lot of the burnout that we feel. So another very important aspect of resilience is that each of us, I feel we can all go through the worst tough times if we feel that we are supported, if we are not alone. And the fact is that none of us is alone, and none of us can do it alone or have to do it alone. So it's very important to not only seek out help, but also to offer it and support others. So it's this beautiful give and take that we all experience. When we are going through, if we know there's somebody to catch us, we are not so afraid to fall. So it's very important to keep nurturing the connections while we take care of ourselves. It's also very important to nurture, to take care of the relationships, of our connections that we have with family, friends, community. So self-care and connection it's a continuous process. Like now, because of Corona, everybody's talking about immunity. Immunity cannot be built in a day. It's a continuous process. Similarly, connections, relationships, or even self-care is a continuous process. It is something that we have to consciously keep doing over a period of time, so that when we go through a difficult period, so say if we have great immunity, even if there is a disease, there are less chances of getting it. And even if we get it, we are more likely to recover from it. So similarly, if we are taking care of ourselves in all those 4 quadrants, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, it becomes easier to navigate the difficult situations, because we have the resources that we need when we are called, to really give our best, to stretch out, to stretch to our limits. So another very key aspect of building resilience is, learning to be thankful for what we have. When things go wrong, we get very focused on what is not working, for what the problem is, and we really actually forget about all the things that are already working. So, in psychology, we talk about the negativity bias, which is, as human beings, we all have an inherent negativity bias. It's like a survival mechanism. Because back in the day, when human beings were evolving, probably living in caves, we had to constantly watch out for any kind of danger, because survival was key. So we are always looking for things that are going wrong. So while that is helpful, like I said, it's a survival instinct, it's also very important to notice the good stuff, to be grateful for what is already working, because oftentimes also when we bring our attention to what is working, the problem doesn't seem as big. When we keep very focused on what's not working, it becomes way bigger than it has to be. Now there has been research done to show that, emotions like gratitude can actually lower stress. They change the hormonal composition of the body. They bring down the stress hormones, and they help us move towards optimism. So let's do a short exercise here, and everybody can just take a moment to reflect upon, what am I grateful for today? And it can be anything, big, small. So let's just take a moment to write down a few things. And maybe some of you already have a gratitude practice. If not, I would really encourage everyone to have a simple gratitude practice. You can write down things that you're grateful for. There are now many apps that you can download on your smartphone or on your device that can remind you. And it's just a great way to, consciously become aware and be thankful for all the wonderful things that we are all so blessed to have, be it our bodies, opportunities, comfort, friends, family, health, whatever it is. And again, I would invite people to share, those few who feel comfortable, maybe a couple of things that they're feeling grateful for. Like I have been feeling so grateful to technology. Technology is what is enabling all of us to be here together today. Another, I think, very key aspect of being resilient is to find the humor in every situation. Sometimes we start taking ourselves too seriously when things are not working well. Grateful for watching this session. Thank you so much. Grateful for having a supportive family. Definitely. Yeah. So, like I said, humor, I feel like really helps us. It helps us be in the present moment. It helps us, see the lighter side of things. Like I said, sometimes we start to take ourselves or our problems too seriously. So I'm just sharing a little bit of humor with you. Hope it brings a smile to your face. Probably some of you would resonate with this. Thank you, Ashwin. Yeah. Now that things are opening up, maybe some of us can get out and go to the mall, or even when you are at home, many times I'm sure your kids or your spouse will tell you that you're here, but you're not really here. Or we have all felt at times like this, right? That we feel we are sitting in a meeting or we're trying to work and yet our mind is somewhere else. And it's kind of important to, again, have the awareness and keep bringing our mind, our attention back. So let's again do a very short being in the now exercise. This is a presence exercise. It's a micro practice, something that you can do if you're feeling kind of spacey or feeling overwhelmed or feeling a bit, muddled in your thinking. So again, you can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. Just sit straight and take a deep breath. Yeah, absolutely. Our families, our friends are good at capturing when we are not fully present with them. So let's take a deep breath. And on the next breath, I invite you to become aware of your feet. You don't have to look at them. You can keep your eyes closed if you like. It helps actually. It helps you focus more with the eyes closed. So just become aware of your feet. And as you breathe out, allow the feet to relax. On the next breath, become aware of your hands. Again, just notice, are the hands feeling tired? Are they sweaty? Are they comfortable? Just tune in, and as you breathe out, just allow the hands to soften, to relax. On the next breath, bring your attention to your heart. Feel your heartbeat in your chest. Take a moment to listen to the heartbeat. And on the next breath, pay attention to all three together, the hands, the feet, the heart. And you can say to yourself, I'm fully present in this moment. So if your eyes are closed, you can open them. This, like I said, it's a micro practice, like the deep breathing that we did earlier, 3 to 5 deep breaths, or doing the simple presence exercise would help you be more focused, be more calm, and also be more present, be it a conversation or work, whatever it is. So these are the various aspects, these are the various tips, techniques that we can use, various areas that we can work in to build our resilience. So just wanted to do a quick recap. That resilience is our ability to thrive despite the circumstances. It is a skill and it can be learned. And I'm just sharing here the various things that I talked about: acceptance, finding solutions and taking action, building our self-awareness, being grateful, and of course, not forgetting to laugh. So that kind of brings me to the end of what I wanted to share with all of you. I would like to invite people to share any takeaways so far from what they heard, or any questions that they have. I will be, opening up for Q&A, but I would also really invite people to maybe just put in the chat one takeaway or something that they feel they can apply, practice, something that they found helpful or useful today. So again, you can unmute and speak as well, or just put it in the chat. So just wanted to close with this quote by Carl Jung. It says that I'm not what happened to me, I'm what I choose to become. So just wanted to, end with this reminder that no matter how hard things are, how adverse the situation is, we can always choose to thrive. We can always choose who we want to become. So thank you, everyone. Some people have shared, enjoyed every minute of this training. Thank you. Looking for another solution if the first one doesn't work. Fill your cup is a great concept. Thank you. Yeah, so keep sharing. I would be very happy to take any questions. If you disagree with anything that I said, you're most welcome to have that conversation as well. So
Hi Divya, this is Kusuma.
hi, Kusuma.
Yeah, fill your cup. How do I make it more, religious, like every day? How do I make it?
Great question, Kusuma. Like I said, especially when we are feeling stressed, that is the first thing that we forget about, right? So there are a couple of things that you can do. I sometimes tell people that, just make a list of the things that fill your cup and put it on your laptop as a screensaver, or put it at your desk so that it reminds you. Also, I would also invite you to keep it simple and practical, because say, if I ask all of you here to start meditating for an hour in a day, it will probably not be practical. Yeah, so we have to really build on our success. So start with something simple, something that you feel is practically possible for you. It could be like a 10-minute meditation. It could be, 5-10 minutes of self-reflection, and you can break it out during the day. So now that we all have technology, we can put simple, reminders or timers on our phones, or, laptops to help us remind that, hey, this is time to take care of yourself. So those are the various things that would help you, and build on it. When you start, say, meditation, if you feel okay, 5-10 minutes is great for you, you can build on it. You can make it 15 minutes, or a day that you have more time, you can do a longer meditation. And days that you have less time, you can, do a shorter one. Eventually, it also boils down to, what our priority is, because oftentimes we are not our own priority, sadly. We prioritize our work, we prioritize our other people. We forget that to be able to work well, to be able to take care of other people, we also need to take care of ourselves. So I hope that answers your question, Kusuma.
Sure. Thanks, Divya.
Anybody has a question? We have got still 20 minutes to go, so you can shoot your question. You may not get hold of Divya later on, so you can ask her as much as you want to.
So somebody said, I think most of the time, filling of your cup depends upon external factors. Sometimes, Ashwin, it does, but say, if I have to read a book, or if I choose to meditate, it may not it's a combination of both, I feel. And that's why I was talking about the 4 components of well-being. Say if I have to eat healthy food, I probably have to go out and buy the right ingredients, make sure, I have fresh food available to me. But when we take care of our emotions, or, we connect spiritually, it's really more of an internal thing than external. Does that help, Ashwin? Great.
Anybody else? There have been good, fascinating chats and all that. So that it would be greater thing if we can get some questions coming from the audience.
Yes, absolutely. And if the question is a little off topic also, it's perfectly fine. When anything that you feel, something that you're mulling over or would like to, just share with the group, you're most welcome to do so.
Divya, this is Shoma here.
Hi, Shoma.
Hi. I find sometimes difficult differentiating between mental and emotional wellness. So that's something I would like help with.
Yeah, no, so thank you for asking that question, Shoma. And I kind of briefly touched upon it. See, while it's called mental illness, like I said, to me, when I talked about the 4 components of well-being, the difference between the mental is more about our intellect, right? It's our ability to think, to process our thoughts, to make sense of, things, to constantly learn, our belief system. That's kind of the mental aspect. The emotional aspect is how we are feeling. So while, mental health is the broader term that's used, like I said, a lot of, say, issues like anxiety and depression, they're really rooted in the fact that, we haven't been able to take care of our emotions, and those held emotions over a period of time then translate into physical disease or mental illness at times. I hope that helps you or answers your question, Shoma.
I sometimes feel it's a subset of mental. Can we really differentiate emotions from the mental state?
Yeah, so it's kind of, you're very right. It's kind of very hard to kind of draw a line. They are interconnected because, like I said, our feelings and our thoughts, right? So if I'm feeling, really angry about it, it'll be very hard to think very kind thoughts at that point in time. Right? So the mental, so the mental and the emotional do go together. But like I said, what's generally termed to be mental health is also has a big emotional component to it. Probably that's the way to look at it, Shoma.
Thank you.
So this is little off the topic, Divya.
Sure,
Today I
Kusuma.
was listening to some audio where there was one concept like when you want something to happen in your life, you already start imagining as if it has already happened. That would make it definitely be more positive, and it will bound to happen. I mean, the concept was in that line. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so there are many people, who talk about that. See, to me, my take on that is, Kusuma, that whatever we give our attention to, that grows in our life, right? So like I was talking about today, say I have a headache. Yeah, if I keep saying, okay, I have a headache, even if I say it 20 times, the headache doesn't become less, it probably becomes more. Yeah, because my attention is very much on the headache. Whereas if I say, okay, I have a headache, what's the best I can do in this situation? I can take rest, I can take a pill, I can, I don't know, call a doctor, I can figure it out, right? So when my attention is on the focus, or on this, my focus and attention is on the solution. Yeah, so if you're trying to manifest something in life, if that is what I'm focused on, my energy is going there. So, and everything really boils down to what our attention is on. Like, to give you an example, Mother Teresa would say that, I would go to a peace rally, but I will not go to an anti-war rally. Yeah, because when we go to the peace rally, we are talking about peace. When we are going to the anti-war rally, the focus is still on war. So your question that you're asking, to me, it is really about becoming clear of what we want. Like many times people say, I don't want conflict in my life. Yeah, so the attention is still on conflict. I ask them that, how about you think that I want harmony in my life? Then you're going to invite the harmony into your life. Yeah. So similarly, if there is something that you want to, like a goal that you want to achieve or something that you want to manifest in your life, somewhere I have to believe that it's possible. Because if I believe it's not possible, so say I'm looking for a job, and every time I send in a job application, I tell myself, oh, it's not going to happen. There are no jobs. The market is really bad. It's kind of, as I'm saying, it'll probably be very hard to find a job. Whereas if I believe that, yes, I want a job and, I will find the right one, and I energize that thought, it's quite likely that I would find a position that's right for me. Is that helpful to, does it answer your question to some extent, Kusuma?
Yes, to some extent. But what I was like, if I give you an example, suppose if I want to work at Microsoft, becoming, a management person at Microsoft, let's say, for an example, if I start imagining, okay, I'm already at Microsoft and I'm, in the management position there, would that help me to reach there?
So that's a good question, Kusuma. It's again, to me, while this is one of the exercises that people use sort of, to manifest something in their lives, to me, it's really about having faith and confidence in ourselves. To me, is it really about, say, particularly working at Microsoft, or do you really want to be in a job that has a good working environment, that pays you well, that respects you as an individual? And it could be Microsoft, or maybe there are other options as well.
Yeah, possible. I was just giving an example. But if I'm very clearly need what I want, let's say I want a house, say in Kormangla. I know I need a house there. So if I start imagining, already I have a house there and beautifully decorated, would that help me? That attracts the nature would help me to go in that direction. I mean, that was a concept I just heard in the afternoon. So I was little, amazed.
So absolutely. And many people talk about this, Kusma, and there are different ways to look at it. For me, it's not so much about, like specifically, like if I have a picture of a house in my head and I want exactly that house to be manifested, and I keep thinking about it, that I already have it. It's a practice that many people recommend. To me, it's more about, getting clarity on what do I want. Like oftentimes it's not so much exactly that, like I said, that I want to work in Microsoft or I want to live in this particular address. It's more about, I want, like as I said, a job that honors me, or I want a house which has certain requirements that are met. Right? So it's about, again, believing that it is possible to get it, that I'm deserving of that. Yeah. Okay. So I would look at it more about, so what we are really doing in what is being recommended is that we are really energizing the thought, like I said, right? Our energy is basically focused in that direction. So you will end up attracting that into your life.
May I add a perspective over here, Divya, if you don't mind?
No, please.
I think
please,
answering your question, Kusum, if you want a job in Microsoft, the question is how seriously you want the job. And once you want a job, how seriously you are willing to put the effort to get that job. To say that I will think of having a job in Microsoft will not get you a job. You need to put that effort behind it. But why you need that effort? Because you are serious in getting a job there. The same way as a house. If I want a house, I have to convert my desire into a want. And then only I'll work towards converting that into a need. And once I get converted into need, then I'm going to do something to make sure I get there. So you have to build that up, okay? Because you may have a lot of thoughts coming to the mind. Are all the thoughts achievable? Answer is no. Only those thoughts where we put serious attention and try to work on those thoughts. By merely having a thought, you don't achieve anything.
Yeah, so thank you, Panikarji, for, yeah, definitely. So it's about, intention, attention, and then action. which is
Absolutely.
what, like I was saying right earlier, that many times we know what we want. We kind of have a solution also, but when we don't take the action, it doesn't materialize, right? So I really feel that all of those are really important, to have the intention, to have the attention, and then to continually take the action that is required. And a combination of that will manifest to pretty much anything that you want in life.
Yeah. Thanks, Divya.
Most welcome. Somebody else asked about, I think, taking action. I think there was something.
Difference between emotion and feeling is what the question is.
What hunger, emotions, and behavior approach to gratitude. Okay, sorry, Pankaji, I don't see that question.
No, from Rajaratnam, he says the difference between emotion and, is that Rajaratnam a question or a statement?
Yeah, I'm asking a question. I'd just like to know the difference between emotions and feelings.
So, I mean, there is kind of a, what shall I say, a subtle difference between emotions and feelings, but for the sake of this particular conversation, I was kind of using them interchangeably. Most times people talk about emotions being the sort of the physical sensation, because we feel them physically in the body, and then the feelings being kind of our interpretation, right? So say if my heart is beating very fast, or like, thumping, it could be excitement, it could also be fear. Yeah. So there is an aspect of the physical sensation, and there is an interpretation to that physical sensation. There is more subtle detail which you can probably read up online or in a book. I hope that helped you to some extent. There was something else somebody asked, but here about
Ashwin is asking, I think
yes.
Most of us know the solution, but action is missing. How can we improve upon getting into action?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is a great question, Ashwin, and this keeps coming up, whether it's, one-on-one coaching or even groups, because like you said, most of us know, we are all smart people. Intellectually, we all know, but normally the gap is in actually taking the action. Yeah. So, and that.
I'm consistent about that.
What, Kusma? Yeah.
And consistently doing that.
And consistently doing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that kind of also, again, has several components. It's again human nature. We start on something, we are very excited about it, it feels good for a few days, then we kind of slip off, we miss it for a few days, and then it's forgotten. We all also know that, to whether it's physically working out, or doing meditation or breathing or anything, it is a continuous thing, right? We have to constantly keep at it. So like I said, so now it also boils down to what is the motivation. Yeah, if we are very happy with the way things are, probably we don't feel that much need to take action. Or it can be both ways. If we are happy with the way things are, we want to sustain it, then that also motivates us to. So say if I am a good weight or at a good point in my life and I want to continue to sustain it, that may motivate it, that if I don't do my exercise and my meditation, I may put on weight, or I may so that can motivate me. But to me, the thing that really motivates us is that, when we honor ourselves, when we live from that place where we feel that life is a gift that's given to us and we have to honor it, I think to me that becomes a big motivation to continuously take care of ourselves in all those 4 components, and to continuously give our best to whatever it is that we do. So to just elaborate a little bit on that, Ashwin, see, many times people take action because they're afraid of a consequence. Yeah. So people are eating healthy today because they don't want to fall sick. I would invite all of us here to kind of eat healthy because we love ourselves, because we want to nourish and nurture these amazing bodies that's been given to us. And to me, that shifts the conversation, because fear is not. So the first one I gave the example was fear, where I'm afraid of falling sick, so I'm trying to eat healthy and exercise. Whereas if I love myself and I really want to honor the gift of life that's been given to me, and I want to be at my best in every moment, then that keeps me motivated to take the action. I don't know if that was helpful, Ashwin.
Yes, exactly. I think here most of us, I think, is the classical example is of the weight management is where we have a purpose, and I feel the most of us do a lot of things, but there are certain things where we fall prey to our apprehensions, procrastination, and whatnot, that leads us to not take any action. So I think purpose is something which has to be very strong. From what I get from your conversation is, purpose needs to be very strong, and we need to get into a habit of getting into that, because we might do it once or twice, but the more we do it and the more habituated we become, I think that is where we can make that shift.
Absolutely. And like, that simple question that I shared earlier, that whatever I'm doing, is this helping me or harming me? So say we all like maybe some chocolate, some ice cream, some sweets. So it's okay. Everything I feel in moderation is fine in life. But, after we have eaten a couple of scoops of ice cream, when we are reaching out for the third scoop, we really need to ask ourselves, is this going to help me or is this going to harm me? Yeah. And that's where, if I really, as I'm saying, want to honor my body, honor my soul, honor my life, I'll probably make the decision to not go for the third scoop. Or if I do go for it, probably I'll find a way to burn it off, work out extra the next day or something. So it is really to, keep finding that balance and have fun as well, because and that's why I shared the humor bit. Sometimes we become very serious and take, be it our weight or any problem, too seriously. So it's important to kind of, find that balance and enjoy, because sometimes when we also try to adopt a system, be it workout or meditation or whatever, which is very strict and practically not really, suited to us, then it's also difficult to keep up with that. So that's why I was also saying that find a system that suits you, because what works for you may not work for somebody else. Similarly, what's giving great results for somebody else may not really be right for me. So it's also sort of trying to find, the best solution for yourself.
Correct.
On the same topic, I would like to add, Divya, the daily affirmations that you taught me definitely helps in these kind of things. Like, for example, for what you taught me, I also added few more affirmations which will help me make 10,000 steps a day, or not to indulge too much on sweets. So that has really worked over, it's almost a year since you you had a session with me. So I have I'm practicing them. So the daily affirmations really helps, actually. Yeah.
Thank you, Kusma, for sharing that. I think maybe most of you here know, yeah, so 80% I'm serious, 20% I'm loose. Yeah, that 80-20 rule is great. Yeah, so for those of you who are maybe already familiar with affirmations and maybe already using them, for some of you who may not be familiar, an affirmation is a positive statement. It is, it's a way to kind of rewire our brain. There has been now research done in neuroscience to prove that it actually creates new neural pathways. So it's something that we repeat. So say, like how Kusma was saying, that say many times people say that, I want to let go of my procrastination, or people say that, whatever somebody is dealing with, whatever difficulty that we are facing. So an affirmation is a positive statement. It is in the present. So instead of saying that I will lose weight, you can affirm that, I am at my perfect weight, or I am happy and healthy, instead of saying I will become healthy or I will become happy. So it's a positive statement. And at the same time, like, so an affirmation is also like a workout, right? So say if I have to do weights, if I start, I have never done weights and I start with 10 kgs, it might be too much. My arm would not be able to take it. But if I start with 100 grams, it's probably not going to be useful. So similarly with an affirmation also, choose an affirmation which is a little bit of a stretch for you. Yeah. So say, let's take an affirmation to say that I love and accept myself just the way I am. If you say that to yourself and you feel, oh, this is not going to be true in a long time, then probably it's not a great affirmation for you. You'll probably need to tweak the words to maybe something like, I'm open to the possibility of loving and accepting myself just the way I am, because that will be more true to you, that you're opening up to that possibility. And over a period of time, as you feel you're getting closer to it, you can change the wordings. This is a bit of a slight detour to our, but affirmations are super powerful and a super simple way to, help ourselves through any challenge, and also to just empower and like Kusma was sharing, to keep on track with our everyday stuff. So thanks for bringing that up, Kusma.
Sorry if I deviated from
No,
the.
no problem. Absolutely not. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Okay, one final question, yeah.
So can we say that subliminal messaging also would help in that case, because something which can keep on hitting us every day, like, you know, we have seen people keeping a chart of a bodybuilder in front of them, which motivates me, keeps on reminding me, or, you know, anything that you want to do, to-do list, that I should not miss out these points in my daily activity. So I think that subliminal messaging do helps a lot, you know, in aligning you with your actions.
Absolutely, Ashwin. Yeah, because like each time you're looking at that picture, like I was saying, that is where your focus is. Wherever our attention and focus will go, our energy is going to flow in that direction, right? So that's why, like for the affirmation, you can say it out, you can write it and, you know, put it on your desk. It's something, you know, sometimes people record it and just listen to it. It's a way, like you said, it's a reminder to us. Yeah. So it's really about that. It's because we are really trying to reprogram the subconscious. It's not so much about the thinking mind. It's really about reprogramming the subconscious.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, one last question.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Matthew.
Yeah, so just to remind like everyone, on 3rd of July also we have a session by Mr. Shyam Iyer on the training need analysis or training need identification through a practitioner's lens. So I request all the participants to join.
Okay, great. If there's no question, thank you, Divya. It was wonderful session. A lot of ideas. I hope it is useful. They are useful for the participant. The whole idea of bringing these programs are that you get 2 or 3 key ideas from the session, and that you can apply to improve your life, your professional career, or your skill or competency. We'll keep on bringing more programs as we go forward. Thank you all for taking time off on a Saturday evening to attend this session. So thank you once again, and all stay safe. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Panikkar. Thank you, ISTD, for giving me this opportunity to connect with everyone today. And thank you, everyone, to give me the gift of your presence and attention today. Have a great rest of the weekend, everyone. And hopefully we'll meet at some point in time.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Bye-bye.
Sir, I think someone asked in the chat how to join the next session. So if you can just share that link.
Yeah, you can send us the email. I put the email address. Just send an email that you want to get connected. So we'll put you on the list, mailing list.
I think it was Mr. Rajaram Surya Kumar. He had asked.
Okay. No problem. We have your data. We will be sending messages anyway, which will.
Sure. Thank you. We've already done that, sir. We've registered for the next session.
Radha sir, good evening. This side Satish.
Yes, Satish.
I'm sorry, I missed the date for the next program. Who is from Mr. Shyam Iyer?
Saturday. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what will be the time, sir?
Same time, 6:30 to 6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ranu.
Okay, great. See you, Divya. Nice of you to have come and given a good session. Thanks so much. We'll sign off.